Mata and welcome back to Wellness Sports Center.
Over the past 3 days, the nation came alive at the Coca-Cola Games, a celebration of passion, discipline, and the unstoppable spirit of young athletes. But beyond the medals and records, there are stories of young women who dared to show up, push through, and rise. Today, we celebrate them. For many, the Coca-Cola Games is more than just a competition. It's a moment they've dreamed of. Early mornings, long trainings, sacrifices that no one sees, and still they show up. Every athlete here carries a story of courage, of doubt, of determination. Some are stepping onto this stage for the very first time, hearts racing, legs shaking, but dreams louder than fear. And that is where strength begins. Not in winning, but in showing up. Enjoy the following clips of day one of the Cokes Games. To every young girl watching, you don't have to be the fastest today. You don't have to be the strongest yet. What matters is that you start, because every champion you see here once stood at the starting line just like you. Unsure, nervous, but brave enough to try, and in that moment, they chose courage. This is what empowerment looks like. Not perfection, but persistence. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more highlights of the Coca-Cola Games.
Bulvinaka, and welcome back to Women's Sports Center. I am your host, Asinati Serevi.
We continue on our journey through the second and third day of the Cokes Games. As the competition builds, so does the pressure. Every second counts. Every jump matters. But what truly defines these athletes is not just how they perform, but how they rise. Not every race ends in victory. Not every effort earns a medal. Yet still, they stand tall. They fall and get back up. They lose and come back stronger. That is resilience. And that is the true spirit of a woman in sport. every young girl watching, your journey will not always be easy. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when you question yourself. Remember this, strength is built in those very moments. You are powerful and your story matters. These athletes are not just competing, they are inspiring a generation. They are showing what is possible. The Coca-Cola Games may be over, but the impact of these young women will last far beyond the track and field. Their stories remind us that empowerment begins with belief in yourself and in your dreams. From all of us at Women's Sports Center, we celebrate every athlete who gave it their all. Don't go anywhere. We have an amazing athlete story to show you right after this break.
I started paddling back in 2013. My classmate back in high school, St. Joseph Secondary School, Olive Singh, she's the one that asked me if I was keen on paddling. Tried out the sport, but it was just all fun and games until 2014 when I officially started paddling.
When Eleanor was growing up, she was more into netball. So in our wildest dream, did we ever dream that one day she will be a world-class paddler?
Coming from a background where we didn't have much, my parents were a bit reluctant in me joining paddling. The start of the sport was actually the hardest because one, I had to adapt to a new surrounding, new group of people. I could still remember the first time I ever sort of told my parents that I was wanting to represent Fiji and that I was wanting to trial. That was for the Pacific Games back in 2015. It was held in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. And the first question they asked was, how much is it that we have to pay? And I knew straight up that, okay, money was gonna be a tough thing.
So her dad left work, retired long time when she was still a little girl. So we had nothing to start off with. So they had to down $400. We had to look for little coins in the house to collect it all. So we asked our son, asked our daughter, those are working, and we had to pinch in every single coin in the house. So when she went to go and give her money, they had to count the coins first. Her jiggling away, walking and happy with her money.
Okay, so when I first met Eleanor, she was at transitioning from primary school to high school. Eleanor stood out as one of the special athletes, I guess, in the group. She showed leadership, determination, and always committed to the training programs that we set for the junior team at that time. She's always willing to put in the miles and the hours. As a coach, if I gave her something to do, if she had to paddle 10 kilometers, I know she'll be out there doing 12 kilometers, always wanting to do that little bit extra to try and gain that little bit more.
I think she always pushes past her fatigue. Even when she's tired, she can yap about it a little bit, but then she resets and then just moves on with her program.
Something Noah usually says is, she reminds us, if you want it, it depends on how bad you want something, and we just go by that.
When I first started this sport, everything was the Tahitian this, Tahitian that. And don't get me wrong, they are bloody good in this sport. It's almost like it is their lifestyle. And that's one narrative that I wanted to change when I first started paddling. My first breakthrough, I would say, would be in 2022. It was the Pacific Mini Games in Saipan. and it was a marathon race. I remember this race so clearly because it was actually the first ever race where we had a Fijian leading the race. And to a point where I honestly didn't know what to do when I was leading that marathon race for 16 kilometers till the Tahitian girl, Vaimiti Maoni, took past me again. When I look back now, I think God was just sort of charting my way up, showing me signs that I was actually capable of doing it. I just needed to sort of convince myself.
Ooh, all this time we've been paddling with Noah, we've noticed that she takes a step back. She will break it apart and see where exactly it went wrong, or try and learn a lesson from that so that she can overcome it, yeah.
Naka vo vina vole wuri bi ngora kere la wel noa to kotonga no wana na no wana turanga no kreti wana no na vitoko ni e sule sagana mbula ni boka zeu se wini solution no wande tawa na klongo wana no bona ni ngora maru kento ti kambimbi no mbula kene la la kodolo kina ni no bula na leri klo e taw ma no mbula taw ma kito maru tativo yo lokani le swai na nganga ya vechiso.
Representing the nation is not just about winning medals. It's more about going out there and impacting the greater country and having that impact on people who will come after me. You know, I like to think of things as trying to have an impact on my nieces and nephew who probably don't see themselves as representing the country now, as young as 5, but maybe when they look at me, they'll probably have some sort of direction.
She's really driven individually, and that drive spreads out onto the other athletes in the team. So our sport is a team sport, and with her in the team, it sort of washes off onto the other paddlers, and they become part of her drive to do well on the water, I guess.
Noa takes a lot of time out. If you were to ask her for advice or to help with like getting a skill or learning a skill on the water, she'll take time out of her busy schedule and she'll help you. Even after training, she'll check up on you to see how you're doing. Personally, a lot of the trialing campaigns haven't been easy, so Noa's just always encouraging, and she's just been there.
Like her making history and having to stand on the podium and getting like all of us to sing the national anthem, especially in our sport that's so small in our country. And it's such an emotional thing because she's grown from being like just top 20 in Fiji to #1 in the Pacific and #3 in the world. Like that gives everybody hope, you know, and that you can do it no matter what country and how small and the amount of resources you have. One thing I learned from her, she said her mom had taught her that everybody has 2 eyes and 2 legs, 2 hands in this sport. But if they can do it, so can you. You just have to set your mind.
Set your mind.
Have a very strong mindset.
Eleanor is one of those people that I met and she stayed in my memory box. The reason why she stood out for us is because she's so humble, and that's what Yandra stands for, what Yandra believes in. You know, the journey that she's come across, her struggles, is exactly what Yandra came across. You know, what you see Yandra as is now was not what it was a few years ago.
The name Yandra itself is already very authentic, very authentic to Fijian culture, and we believe that Eleanor embodies that. For a person who has achieved what she has achieved, and to sit at a position of #3 in the world for, may I say, like a minority sport in Fiji, for somebody to be recognized globally, that speaks volumes of the character that Eleanor is.
As a now Yandra brand ambassador, if there's one message that I want to leave, from my experience, we are bound to more things in life. There is literally no limit. There is literally no ceiling. The limit that we set for ourselves is what we think of ourselves. Dream big. And I'd like to say, dream big, because if you read in the Bible in Jeremiah 29:11, God has already set a plan for us, has already set a purpose for us in this lifetime. Regardless of the consequences that we might be going through, regardless of the situations that we have been put through, always know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel, that there's always something great waiting for us up ahead. So dream big, challenge yourself, to become something that people won't probably notice, people from today won't notice you, because you've sort of challenged yourself to become better. Be grateful for what you have. Honor your mother and father. It's in the commandment, and it's something that I hold to heart. And that's why I'm always, always grateful for my parents, for the teachings that they have taught me over the years, for their upbringing and how much they've sacrificed and invested in me. And that, more importantly, greatness comes from anywhere.
That was an inspiring story from a truly remarkable female athlete. As we come to the end of this episode, we acknowledge and celebrate all the women athletes who continue to put in the hard work, day in and day out, pushing limits, chasing dreams, and inspiring the next generation to rise.
I am your host, Asinati Serebi, and thank you for joining us on Women's Sports Center. Vinaka.